Well, can we please talk about the UFC for about 10-15 minutes, most specifically some of the bets that I placed on UFC Vegas 32, which was headlined by obviously the return of TJ Dillashaw and Corey Sandhagen. There were various decent fights on that. I'm going to do a quick wrap up of the news as well, have a bit of a laugh at a couple of things. There is some funny shit out there. Say what you will about Conor McGregor, like he's always good for a laugh at this point, isn't he? So yeah. Anyway, the wrap-up for UFC Vegas 32. Now, this was an uncharacteristically good night for me betting-wise. Now, I didn't watch it live, and that was a shame, because I'm going to get into that when I look at the last of these bets, because I kind of wish I had a live cash-out. I'm not going to lie. So, Miranda Maverick took on Maycee Barber. That was a flyweight women's fight. Now, let's be perfectly fair. The judges got this one wrong. Now, I have money on Maycee Barber. Right? I should have been way biased towards Maycee Barber. But I don't really understand how the judges gave her rounds 1 and 2. And I'll be honest, it was a bold strategy from Maycee Barber to drop the first 2 rounds, well, I thought fairly convincingly, to come on strong in the 3rd round. It seems like that was what she was trying to do. It's like, well, if you're not going to finish the fight, you're still going to lose the fight 2 rounds to 3. Maybe she do something we didn't. Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, because I don't know how the judges really scored that one. I don't know how they justified their scorecard, but it might be nice to see how they justify that one. I mean, I guess maybe the 2nd round was close-ish, but I don't know. I'm not a judge, but I'll take a win. I'll take a win by hook or by crook. And look, Maverick, she still looked really good. She did gas in the 3rd round, though. So, you know what? Maybe she should work on her cardio. Because if she'd have gone in real strong and looked great in the 3rd round as well, then we wouldn't be having this conversation about how the judges got it wrong, would we? So, anyway. I'd expect Barber to now jump Maverick in the rankings to rank 12 or so. So, Andrea Lee needs a fight. Andrea KJB Lee or KGB. Andrea KGB Lee. God damn it. How did I get that wrong? Yeah, I think that's a fight that makes sense. Andrea Lee needs a fight as well. Maycee Barber's a pretty big name. They're both relatively big names when it comes to the women's division. So I think that one makes sense as a matchup. We then had Mickey Gall. Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey, he made his comeback at UFC Vegas 32. And actually, I don't know if I just didn't notice it before or if it's a new thing. But his theme tune's fantastic because obviously he comes down to the Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. But then it like does a remix into the Sopranos theme tune because he's like a Jersey boy. Yeah, love that. Mickey Gall looked fantastic. I thought, you know what, I had 5-1 on the submission. I thought that was easy money, and it really was because he looked comfortable on the feet, like he was knocking him down, and then that rear naked choke. It was just, it was academic, wasn't it? Like there was no way he was getting out of that. Now another unranked low opponent should be next for Mickey Gall. Gall is currently ranked 60, but I imagine that will be higher when they refresh the rankings. Claudio Silva, Lyman Good, they both need a fight. Either of those would do. You just give him another unranked guy so that you can push him up in the rankings, get him a win streak together, and see what's next for Mickey Gall. Then we had Nasruddin Imavov against Ian Heinisch, 185 pounds. This one was a good fight. Imavov, I did say he was one of the underdogs I was really picking because look, at the end of the day, I really like Ian Heinisch. He's got a colourful past. Look into it. Dealing drugs, Spanish mafia, the lot, right? He's a fucking exciting fighter and I enjoy watching him, but I did think he was going to have trouble here. Imavov comes from the same training camp as Cyril Gane, and you can really see the similarities in how they move and how they strike. He looked really fluid, really smooth, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who he fights next. Speaking of who should fight next, he was ranked 40 before. I would imagine he will be in the top 20 when they refresh the rankings. So, Brendan Allen or Omar Akhmedov, those would both be decent matchups, both kind of hovering in that top 20 region. And then, you know, if he's impressive in that one like he was, it was a very impressive victory at the weekend. And yeah, we'll see if he can get another impressive win. He's going to be getting into the conversation for top 15, top 10. So I look forward to seeing that. And then we had the main event. Now this is where if I was watching it live, and it wasn't even on late. I don't know why I didn't watch it live. I watched it in the morning. I would have hit cash out so fast on my bet because I had Mickey Gall by submission. Because obviously I had to put a new bet on. Like for clarification, I had to put a new bet on because the Aspen Ladd and Macy Chase and I can't remember what her name was. Macy something. Fell out anyway, so that fight didn't happen. So I had to do another accumulator, and I picked Mickey Gall by submission, Imavov to win, Macy Barber to win, and Corey Sandhagen by knockout. Honestly, I thought one of the safer parts of that bet would have been Corey Sandhagen by knockout. And if I'd have had the option, I'd have cashed that out anyway. But I didn't, and you know what? I was already counting my money by the time this fight came on because I thought this one was one of the safer parts. But you know what? It was a very good fight. And I don't like people like throwing the term robbery around. It wasn't a robbery. It was a close fight, right? At the end of the day, the problem is Sandhagen, he looked good. He looked like he could possibly get the knockout in round 2. But fair play to TJ. He stayed in there and he kept the pressure on. The striking was a lot closer than it looked. The striking was very even in every round except round 2. And you've got to remember that the judges, they don't have the fight metrics there. So if it looks even, they're going to score it fairly even. And then what do you score next? Answer? Octagon control. And who had the most octagon control? It was TJ. Whether it looks good or not, whether it's pretty or not, he was controlling the octagon. He was pressuring. He was keeping Sandhagen more or less where he wanted him for the most part. I would say Sandhagen's striking was more effective. I mean, look at the state of TJ's face. That's a given. However, damage isn't taken into account until there is a dead heat in the striking and the octagon control. If those two things are an absolute dead heat, then damage gets brought in as a factor. And because it wasn't a dead heat, the octagon control clearly went in favour of TJ. That is why the judges scored it the way they did. And don't get me wrong, you can make an argument for both guys, right? That it was a fantastic fight, but I think, at the end of the day, instead of second-guessing the judges on that one, the judges made far worse decisions throughout the night than that one, believe me. So anyway, TJ, he was the aggressor for the whole fight, really. Sandhagen did a great job working backwards, but you know what? Those spinning attacks really let him down because he was throwing them far too often. He threw them too often and he ended up in compromised positions as a result. And I think that was a part of his downfall as well. That and TJ Dillashaw looking absolutely brilliant considering he's coming off of a 2-year layoff and supposedly he's not on the juice anymore. Fingers crossed he doesn't piss hot this week. So Sandhagen was next in line for the belt, so TJ, he should get the winner of Sterling and Yan. That is the fight to make. What a story that would be, eh? What a redemption story. If not for the belt, Rob Font is the fight to make. It's fairly easy when it gets to the top of the division. So, in the news, apparently, Stipe Miocic is considering a move to ONE FC. He's posting things on Instagram about, when the ONE FC's post saying, maybe I should, head on over. Now, this begs a question. He's obviously still under contract with the UFC, and good luck getting out of that and fighting in ONE FC of your own volition. But would the UFC consider a trade? And if so, who for? Maybe. Like a big name like Stipe Miocic, maybe they could poach Rainier de Ridder, the light heavyweight and middleweight champ, who's 14-0. No, maybe he'd be willing to make the move. I get why Stipe is upset. Stipe is already the longest running UFC heavyweight champion. He's got the most title defenses. He really doesn't have anything left to prove in the UFC. So maybe a move to ONE FC would be, like, if he could capture the belt in ONE FC, that would be a nice extra addition to his legacy. And I do get why he's upset. He thinks he should have the instant rematch. But the thing is, which there is an argument for, but there's also an argument for, you got sparked out pretty nastily. Maybe have a fight first. I don't know. Like I said, there's an argument for both. Either way, the fact of the matter is they're doing Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis next at UFC 265, and then the winner of that is going to fight Francis Ngannou. So that does leave Stipe Miocic out of the title picture, at least for the short term. Then you've got Jake Paul. He claims to be in talks with McGregor for a big money boxing match. Now, every time Conor loses, this fight becomes more and more of a possibility, doesn't it? At the end of the day, I think that Conor is a good enough boxer to tune Jake Paul up. And if Jake Paul beats Woodley, then I would say the McGregor fight is more or less a certainty to happen at some point. I think McGregor should probably try and get at him earlier rather than later, because let's be fair, Jake Paul is just going to get better and better and better. Is he going to get good enough to beat Conor McGregor? That's a different question entirely. I maybe don't think. I think that's maybe a skill level too high. But you know what? Not in terms of fight pedigree, but in terms of pay-per-view buys, the Paul brothers, they sell tickets. Conor McGregor sells tickets. Do you know what I mean? People would watch it. It would be a ridiculous set. They would all make money off of it, which is why I think, money talks, bullshit walks. You know what I mean? This fight's probably going to happen sooner or later. Speaking of Conor McGregor, he's bloody tweeting and deleting again, isn't he? Look at that, he's just showing, literally, I'll bring it up here, he's got a whole string of tweets, right? And he's talking about, Jolie, stay out of my DMs, bitch. I think he meant to say bitch, he's actually said butch. Now, it's all drunken ramblings, really. But what caught my attention was the comment where he's saying that jumping to a guillotine is not a takedown. So he admits, you admit, Conor, you were jumping to a guillotine. You were going for, dare I say it, a submission? Let's all just take a look at the quote from McGregor's interview with Stephen A. Smith. What were you doing going for a guillotine, Conor? Submissions don't count. By your very own definition, they don't count. So why the hell were you going for a guillotine when you don't even count them as a legitimate win? I love this guy. He contradicts himself on every turn. People need to stop letting him do lines and drink beer and then put his phone in his hand. Someone needs to take his goddamn phone off him. If that even is him, it might just be someone else on his account. But yeah, also, just on the topic of the Stephen A. Smith interview, he sits there and he goes, my record is 19 wins and 1 loss. I only count knockouts. Well, Conor, if you only count knockouts, that means you've got 16 wins, not 19, because 3 of you, 2 decisions and 1 submission. Those don't count, right? By your own logic, those wins don't count. You got 16 wins, 2 losses now. Well, if you count the doctor stoppage. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to Troll of the Week. Troll of the Week, there's some really good ones in here, actually. This one is in preparation for Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. Basically, people are saying that Aljamain Sterling's running scared, and they've edited the Friday 13th poster because it's taking place in October as well. And Peter Yan is Jason Voorhees, and then Sterling's hiding behind a tree like a little bitch. They're saying that this should be the official fight poster. Shout out to @GeezeFX for the little design there. That's it. That's a good one. I mean, thing is, I don't think it's necessarily. I think that Aljamain might win the rematch. That's my hot take anyway. But I'll get more into that when. As and when the fight kind of gets a little bit closer. So the next one was the title of this episode, actually. This is really funny. It's called Red Leg Redemption. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Red Dead, but it's just someone's literally done the cover of Red Dead Redemption where they put Conor's face on. And I don't know why. I can't stop laughing at it. Credit to Octagon Island for this one. Octagon Island, Red Leg Redemption, fantastic. Honestly, when I first saw that, I was laughing for far too long, for much longer than a grown-ass adult should be laughing at stuff like this. That is fantastic. Absolutely perfect. And next up, we've got, this is where basically they're talking about people watching Glory, and yeah, here we go. Yeah, so it's casual. Yeah, this is the guy. It's like he's just always doing this. So casuals. I hate it when MMA fights go to the ground. So damn boring. Right? Strikers are way more entertaining. And the guy who just does the gesture, it's just like Glory kickboxing. Yeah, there you go, guys. At the end of the day, if you don't like the ground fighting, there are options. There are options for that. And then this next one I added just earlier on today. Let's see if I can find it. Have I put it on here? I don't know if I have, but anyway, I think I've... Yes, there it is. So, yeah, this one is in relation to the Stipe Miocic kind of tweeting out that he's not happy. He wants to go to ONE FC. If you've seen Jurassic Park, Dennis Nedry and Dodson, the other guy's name is, like, basically he's trying to sit undercover, and Dennis Nedry is like, "Hey, Dodson, we got Dodson here. See, nobody cares." So they've done a parody of that, right? They put Stipe Miocic's face over Dodson's face, and it's just like you've got Dennis Nedry going, "Hey everyone, Stipe's threatening to sign with ONE FC. You see, nobody cares." It's fucking, oh god, that is harsh. That is a harsh one, but it might be kind of true. When I saw it, I was like, huh, who can they trade him for? I mean, oh, that's rough, isn't it? No, because the thing is, honestly, I just think it's that Stipe hasn't got anything to prove in the UFC anymore. So, you know, maybe he should try going to Japan, making some money over there, getting another belt to his list of accolades. And that is all we've got time for this week. It's been a good one. It's been fun. So, anyway, the fight's coming up this weekend. Sean Strickland against Uriah Hall. That's going to be the main event. I'll be doing all my fight picks for that on Friday. The fight picks are on Friday. If you're a member of the Patreon, thank you very much. If you're a member of the Patreon, it is huge. It means the world to me. It's hugely appreciated. And if not, you can still catch it here on YouTube and have fun, but you get early episodes and all bonus stuff if you head over to the Patreon. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe and share. You know, if you've got mates that are into MMA that might get some enjoyment out of this, please let them know, because, you know, I'm just trying to grow this thing. See where it goes. Do you know what I mean? Throwing some shit out there and see what happens. But until Friday, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.